Once upon a time, there used to be a thing known as fair, objective journalism that stood as a buffer between tyranny and autocracy and the rule of law and democracy. Once upon a time, there used to be multinational agencies like the Red Cross and Doctors Without Borders that selflessly did human work in improving lives of people. Today, we have political activists and ideologues of Marxist thought posing as journalists, undermining elected governments at the behest of vested interests. And today, we also have multinational agencies richly funded by individuals, non government organizations, and deep state actors whose only job is to undermine governments which do not fall in line with a particular ideology or agenda. How else can you explain a full page advertisement in the Wall Street Journal, which is shocking yellow print at its worst, a caricature of objectivity and assault, as it were, on reason and fairness because its contents call for sanctions against our finance minister and Supreme Court judges for indiscretions may be committed in a parallel universe. Much more than the scurrilous contents of the advertisement, the real shocker is that a so-called prestigious daily like the Wall Street Journal thought it best to publish it. And before some would say it is just an advertisement, then the counter is, do you publish advertisements about pornography, how to commit a crime, or how best to massacre people? Because, ladies and gentlemen, this advertisement titled Wanted, impersonating cheap potboiler Western movie titles, is in the same league of the obscene and the blasphemous. And the other agent provocator called Hunger Index, operating out of Germany and Ireland, what is there about it that should not surprise us? It is probably a team of white researchers funded by troublemaking deep state actors, agencies, and governments that want to show India its rightful place, and they do that by concluding that India, in terms of hunger issues, is at position 107th, below Pakistan and Bangladesh, and one position above Afghanistan. It is pointless arguing and placing facts, refuting this garbage before people who are running an agenda. But nevertheless, two quick points to show up the absurdity of these maneuvers. India became food surplus a long time back, and both during COVID and post-COVID, we have been exporting food grains to countries in need all over the world. India has been providing free rations and food grains to the needy in India throughout the COVID period. And that scheme continues to this day. How do we then land alongside Afghanistan in the global hunger index is a big mystery to me. And as to the Wall Street Journal shocker, let it be said that a finance minister under whose stewardship India became the world's fifth largest economy, should that person be serenaded or put in the dock? The lies, damned lies, as it is said, are repeated ad nauseum because that is the way to do it if someone is running an agenda. The agenda of these people and forces is quite complex, but still, I will make a few salient points to drive the issue home. But first, a warm welcome to all viewers of the CAA show. CAA, as all of you know, is Conversations and Analysis, and my name is Juggi Bhasin. To watch a show, press the big red subscriber button on your screen, and subscription is, of course, completely free. Now, I don't want to get in the old argument that there are countries out there who are not particularly happy with India coming out strongly post-COVID and being counted now as a powerhouse in the world. That, of course, or that argument is completely true, and we are all aware of it. Let me tell you another side of the story about the people who carry out such defamatory agendas. Ever wondered who are the current crop of so-called journalists in the New York Times, the Wall Street Journals, and other such media outlets, and the so-called fact checkers in bodies like Hunger Index? These people are not taken for journalistic skills or a commitment to the truth. These people are recruited for what kind of following they have, that is of rabble trousers, on social media platforms, that is Twitter, Instagram, etc. The idea is that the publication, when it employs such people at high salaries, it gets access to thousands of followers of those it has employed, many of whom buy, enjoy, and lap up negative vile agendas. Old saying, negativity begets negativity, and both sides benefit in such an arrangement. Who cares about objectivity and a commitment to truth in the process? Take in India the example of Rana Ayub, who writes for the Washington Post. Now, she has a sizable Twitter following of malcontents who are always railing against the government in India. And when she gets her vitriol published in the Post, guess who laps it up? That is how the game is played. And notice that after an event of such importance, such an agenda is unleashed from all sides. So, just to give you another example, when India, in consonance with its policy of strategic autonomy, voted to abstain in the crucial vote in the UN on the Russian annexation of regions in Ukraine, then what happened? India's decision obviously was not liked by certain powers and forces with vested interests, and so, on a particular day, when our Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman was in the United States holding meetings with the United States Treasury officials and then the IMF and other multilateral agencies, the scurrilous advertisement, the Wall Street Journal, made appearance. And soon on its heels, the Hunger Index report was released. That is how the game is played. Such provocation, though, is obviously water off duck's back for the Indian government. That is, of course, one way of responding to these provocations. But in my estimation, there is need for the government to be more articulate about these conspiracies at play and not be shy of pointing fingers where the blame lies. Take the example of the Chinese government, which does not give an inch when rubbed the wrong way. Be that as it may, the days of the Indian government offering its other cheek to provocation are coming to an end. India is standing up and sending the message loud and clear that it will follow its own path come what may. Better late than never, as they say. And so on this note, I come to the end of this episode of the CAA Show. I hope you really enjoyed this particular episode. And if you do like our show, do subscribe to us. And on this note, it's goodbye and cheers from my end.